Hi, how are you guys?
Great. Okay, well, why are seaside destinations such a desirable location for wedding and honeymoon couples? Well, we think Rocco Forte understands the magic. And as you join us today to visit 3 of his magnificent Italian seaside destinations, you'll see exactly what we mean. Welcome and greetings, everyone. I'm Renee Strauss. Welcome to Wedaways, Getaways, virtual fams for wedding planners. We are a dual-sided marketplace. Wedaways connects the global wedding community with luxury venues and travel services, and luxury venues with the global wedding community. If you want to say hello, please use the chat box, and any questions, shoot into the Q&A box. We are broadcasting episode 3 of the Wedaways Advantage, Travel and the Business of Weddings, Navigating the New Normal, next Thursday, July 30th at 10 a.m. Same time, same station. It will be the finale of the 3 episodes, and one lucky wedding planner is going to win 3 nights and 4 days with breakfast daily, a special dining experience for 2 spa treatments, and a special in-room amenity from one of the 4 Viceroy hotels and resorts that we feature on wedaways.com. So definitely dig into the site and pick your favorite, keep doing the social media, and one of you is going to win that glorious trip. And we wish we could come along. Well, today we're joined by Benedetto and Mary of the Rocco Forte collection, and my wonderful business partner and daughter, Pamela Goldman. We're so excited that we're all here again, and we're back in Italy. And how are you all doing?
Everybody? Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Welcome to Italia.
Where are you, Benedetto? Are you coming from Rome?
Yeah, I'm based in Rome, but today we are going to visit the very south of Italy. And I'm quite excited because I was born and raised in the south. So I'm a southern guy. And you know that the Italians from the south are a kind of unique compared to the rest of Italy.
Definitely. We love it. So which property are we starting with today?
So today we are starting with the Torre Maizza, Masseria Torre Maizza in Puglia.
Wonderful.
And I have my colleague with me, Mary, and she's going to introduce to all of you about our brand and why we are called Rocco Forte Hotels.
Great. And Mary, you're here in the U.S., up in Northern California.
So yeah, I'm in the beautiful city by the bay in San Francisco.
We all love the sea. We're by the sea also. So that's awesome. Tell us all about Rocco Forte. I know that he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth. And the first time I met Sir Rocco, I asked him, I said, Sir Rocco, how is it that you became a knight? And he said, I got down on one knee and the Queen put a sword on my shoulder. And I said, I know, but that's not what I mean. How did it happen? So I still haven't figured out the story.
Well, the story actually, Renee, is you're exactly right. You're a lovely ambassador for us because I know you've also been to many of our properties. But he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth for all the contributions to UK tourism. We are headquartered in London, being a European company. So that's the reason for him getting knighted. And his father was also a hotelier from the 60s to the 90s. And some might be familiar with the company that he owned. It's called Trust House Forte Group. So for 30 years, he had the largest hotel company. And his father was a lord, so it was Lord Charles Forte, which some might recognize as well.
Wow. And his son is named after his father, correct?
That's right. Charles Forte Jr., yes, exactly.
Well, I mean, as a mother-daughter team ourselves, we love a family business, so this is great.
That's wonderful. So should I start talking about the brand, Renee?
Please, we love to hear it.
Okay, so those that are not familiar, Rocco Forte Hotels, like we were just talking about, is a family-owned company, actually 4 generations. You see in this picture here, our owner, chairman, and CEO, Sir Rocco Forte, which you'll hear us address him as Sir Rocco during the presentation. Right next to him, to the right, is his lovely sister, Oglipizzi. She's the co-chairwoman, but also the director of design for all of our hotels. So she's responsible for all the touches, the decor, the decorations, the design, anywhere from the public spaces to the restaurants, the guest rooms, everything. Very busy lady right now as we're getting ready to open our hotel next year in the spring in Palermo, which Benedetta will talk about. And then his 3 children are very involved in the company as well. Lydia is the one to the far left. She's involved in the food and beverage side, just really partnering and collaborating with our restaurants and really creating some wonderful culinary programs and experiences there. And then right next to her is her sister, Irene Forte, which is the director of wellness. So working closely with our spas across our hotels. And then last year, she just launched her own product line called Irene Forte Skincare, really using the ingredients from our property in Sicily to make up her product line and products. And her products are available in our spas. And then, like you just mentioned, Renee, Charles Forte Jr. Is involved in the company as well. And he is involved in the business development side, just really trying to find and identify opportunities and destinations where we can open more hotels and add to our portfolio. So we actually have 13 existing hotels right now. And most of them, or half of them, are really in Italy. 3 that we'll talk about today as far as our seaside retreats. We also have 3 other hotels, which we covered earlier this week, which is our city hotels in Italy. And that's 2 hotels in Rome and 1 hotel in Florence. And then we also have 3 hotels in Germany based in Berlin, Frankfurt, and Munich. And then our other, which are currently open, actually recently opened, or reopened. And then in the UK, we have the Balmoral and Edinburgh Browns Hotel in London. We also have 2 other hotels based in, or located in Brussels and St. Petersburg, which is the Hotel Migo and the Hotel Astoria. And those hotels have not reopened yet, but plan to reopen later this fall. Just to give you kind of idea of the size of our hotels. So we're anywhere from our hotel in Puglia, which is 40 rooms, which you can do a full buyout, all the way up to about 200 rooms, which is our resort in Sicily. So that kind of gives you a good idea of the size of our hotels. And then now I'm going to pass it over to Benedetta, who will take you on a journey to our seaside resorts.
Thank you so much, Mary.
You're welcome.
And Renee, do you want me to start directly, or do you want to add anything before?
You know what? We are seeing what we're going to visit now, but would you tell the viewers what is a masseria?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yes, what is a masseria?
Ah, of course, yes. I know that it's a very interesting question because you are, this is an Italian word, and this Italian word is not very well known outside of Italy because it's very specific for this area of Italia. So masseria means farmhouse. But it's a very typical farmhouse, and I'm going to show you in a sec why this place is called Masseria Torre Maizza. But before getting to the Masseria, I need to show to all of you how to get physically to the Masseria. And I always try to, in order to show you the location of the, in the region we are considering today, by making an example. You know that Italy is like a stiletto, it's like a boot, and Puglia is right the hill of the stiletto. So our Masseria is on top of the hill of our boot.
I'll take any kind of shoe. That's perfect.
It's a very, you know, very chic shoe, the one in Italy that we have. And we are in the very, very south. We can see the extreme south of Italy. But it's very easy to be reached because in the last 20 years, this region from a very, let's say, unknown destination, it has become one of the most popular destinations for international tourism.
Mhm.
And this is also because in the course of the 20 years, they have developed a lot in terms of luxury accommodation as well as accessibility, because we have two airports. And from Roma and from Milano, which are the major international airports, the major hubs, you can easily get to Bari or Brindisi because we have a frequent flights, let's say each hour, each 2 hours, and it only takes 50 minutes of flight and about 45 minutes driving to get to the Masseria. So it's very, very easy to access to the Masseria, which is in the between the two major airports. And on the way to get to the Masseria, you are surrounded by this beauty. This is the very famous village called Polignano a Mare. And Polignano a Mare, the picture that I'm showing, and this area, which is only 10 minutes driving from our Masseria, is also the most Instagram picture of the area because it's really, really like a dream. You can see the clean crystal waters and these cliffs with all the white architecture overlooking the Adriatic Sea. So it's a kind of a really impressive. And this, the reason why Sir Rocco Forte and Rocco Forte Hotels has decided to invest their money in these what we can say emerging destinations for international tourism is because in the course of the last 10 years, many things have happened. So today, I just picked up some pictures from Google. So these are official pictures and articles that you can find on magazines, on online news of what has recently happened in this region. And we have to say, we have to thank the United States and the Hollywood stars and the actors and the singers who have contributed to the development of this destination, which is now very popular. But again, 10 years ago, no, let's say 20 years ago, when I was a little child, it's not true, I was not a little child, I wish, that place was even unknown to the Italians as well. But then these fabulous events happen in this area. And you can see from the pictures, for example, the wedding of Justin Timberlake, the birthday party of Madonna, and then most recently, and I was there actually, not at the wedding, I was not invited, but I was on my holiday, the Sutton wedding from New York, which has been one of the most expensive wedding ever, $250 million, so 200 million euro for the organization of this wedding. And this happened right in Puglia, a few kilometers, a few miles away from our Masseria. For the Sutton wedding, for example, they have completely privatized an entire village, but this village was with people. It was not a ghost village. So it was a kind of unique because there was a full buyout, not of a resort, but of an entire area for 10 days. But believe me, it has been something magical and amazing. So the reason why Sir Rocco has invested a lot of money on the new Masseria, it's because this area is really loved by the international tourism and by a very high-end international tourism. Because as you know, and this is the new trend, we are always looking for new hidden gems. We are always looking for something new to share, something genuine and authentic. And these are the two key words to explain Puglia: genuinity and authenticity. What I'm showing you today now on the screen is the famous architecture, the famous construction that you can find all over in Puglia. It's called Trulli. And believe it or not, people used to live in the Trulli in the past. And these were the houses of the Apulian people many, many centuries ago. Now these are tourist attractions, but also venue for events or for wine tasting, olive tasting. So they are visited all over. You can also stay in one of these if you wish. And these conical houses are the typical constructions that you can find, and where you can drive with an aperello. It's a little bit the Italian dream, what people think of Italy, because sometimes when traveling to the art cities of Italy, which are now also very modern, very globalized, even if we are still beautiful in terms of arts and architecture. While traveling to Puglia, you still have the feeling of dating back to the 50s, to the real Dolce Vita. And maybe this is the reason why so many people are now attracted by this new destination. And in terms of authenticity, in line with this theme, we have this beautiful Masseria, which is an authentic farmhouse dating back to the 16th century. So this was the place where the rich people were staying with all together with all the staff and managing all the beautiful olive groves of the area, because one of the major productions of this, do you have olive oil from Puglia?
Yeah, it's delicious. I love olive oil and olives. Delicious.
Yeah. So the majority of the olive oil production all over Italy is made in Puglia, in this little tiny area. And some of the trees that you can find also in our Masseria are millennial trees. Hundreds of history. So one more unique selling point of our resort is that we combine double experience. We are surrounded by the olive groves, so you have the countryside feeling, but we are overlooking the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. And what is sea? You know that Puglia is being defined by the Italians as the Maldives of Italy.
Oh.
Because of the high level and quality of the crystal waters that you can find, and because the majority of the beaches are white sand beaches, especially in a specific area where we are located. I will show you a couple of pictures of our beach club and you will see. By walking into the Masseria, you can reach our rooms through this beautiful green patio. And the rooms are on the one side and on the other. And many of them have a private garden and a private pool. This is the end result of a more than 1 year restoration project, a €6 million investment to convert a farmhouse into a boutique hotel. As Mary mentioned before, the number of rooms is 40, including in our inventory a lot of junior suite and suites, the majority of them. And also our entry level is quite spacious and large. The peculiarity, as I mentioned before, is all the interior design, even if it's fresh and new, because it has been just reopened after a long period of restoration. It all reminds the region with the ceramic, the tapestries that you can find, all the beautiful interior design and decorations, which has been selected by the local artisans working in the area. So it is very local and with a Napoleon soul. You can see from the pictures how beautiful and how the design made by Olga Polizzi, by Sir Rocco's sister, is in each details that you can find in the rooms. Some of the suites are pool suites, so with a private pool, and you can enjoy your privacy on our private pool as well as on our main pool area. Let's talk now about weddings, which could be the ideal wedding or an ideal event in our Masseria. Of course, the ideal wedding will be a full buyout of the property. A full buyout will mean 40 rooms in double occupancy will be 80 people. So again, 80 is the magic number for an event in our property. Even though I'm going to show you now some of the locations, in case we go over certain numbers, we can still welcome the weddings, larger weddings, but in that case, we need to work on an overflow. And it's not a very complicated overflow because just, let's say, 1 mile away, we have one of our major competitors that I'm not going to mention today, but we work very closely anyway with all the hotels in the surroundings because all the luxury hotels of the area, we have a few more Masserias which have been restored together with one more hotel, which is next door and our main competitor. We can easily work on an overflow. So you can have your own Masseria for your event and manage the overflow easily in the surroundings with all the other properties. The picture I was showing you is our Carousello Restaurant, which has an indoor and an outdoor space. So on the outdoor space, it's perfect because we can go up to 80 people. So it's easy if you are on a full buyout. Of course, we always have to work on a plan B. So I'm always mentioning the plan B. In this specific case, while the indoor cannot host 80 people, the outdoor with specific stretch tents can overcome any weather conditions problems. So easy to do. For larger events, larger weddings, we can go up to 250 in our olive grove, together with the other locations of the resort. These pictures are for much more small and intimate weddings. It should not always be a big wedding. And recently, since our opening, we have already hosted about 25 international weddings. So it's a kind of a very important result, considering that we just opened at the beginning of May 2019. The hotel has just reopened after the lockdown, so we are quite happy, and we are experiencing a very intense demand because you know that Puglia is very loved also by the domestic market, and in this specific moment, a lot of families from Italy are booking our resort, especially in the month of August, which is the holidays time in Italia. And then some beautiful settings of intimate atmosphere. These can be set also in our bar area, as well as our Bougainville bar. And then, even more intimate, you can have a candlelight dinner on top of our tower, because torre means tower. So on top of it, where we also have our presidential suite, we can set a private dinner for two on such a romantic sunset area. The board of the pool is one more location that can be set up to 250. So again, if available the overflow of rooms, we can have larger events. And the cake on board of the pool. Wellness area, we have a beautiful wellness area, and we can also set treatments in the olive groves just to make it much more in contact with the nature. And here is the beach club. The beach club is only 10 minutes away. Look, it really reminds Italy, and it really reminds La Dolce Vita also in the colors and in the design. And the beach club is part of the ownership of the Masseria, and it's also a perfect location for a wedding if you are looking for a wedding on the beach. It can be, of course, in specific periods of the year, not on the peak season. It can be also privatized for exclusive use, and you can have a beach party or a wedding on the beach, which could be one of the most beautiful experiences when doing it in Puglia. And then, toasting, we move to the destination. A few words about the destination. Puglia is also known as the Tuscany of the south and also the Florence of the south. This city is Lecce. Lecce is only 1 hour and 15 minutes away from our resort, and it's considered the Florence of the south because of the architecture, but also the colors that you find in this city are really impressive. Everywhere you look is bright. It's something really, really, and it's a big enthusiasm. And now we move to one more destination, because I suppose that when coming to Puglia and when visiting the region, you don't want to stay only on the resort, but you want to explore the surroundings. This is a must-go destination. It's called Matera. Guess that Mel Gibson shot the movie The Passion of Christ. And it was not in Jerusalem, but it was in Matera, on this beautiful village, which up to the 50s was considered the shame of Italy. Can you believe it? In the 50s, it was considered the shame of Italy, because this area was where people were living in caves, like in the prehistoric period.
Wow.
After years and years of development, this place has been, in 2019, the capital of culture worldwide.
When Pamela and I went to Italy and really discovered the country to start this company together, we drove from, of course, we started in Rome, we went across Basilicata and went to Puglia and spent time in Puglia. And on our way back, we went through Matera. And then we put our car on the ferry and shipped it to Sicily when we went to visit Verdura. And because you mentioned Mel Gibson, I just have to bring up really quickly that last time when we did our webinar, you mentioned Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I mixed it up with the Netflix series Hollywood. They're both amazing productions, but I just had to clarify that because I totally mixed those two up. But
I know.
But The Passion of the Christ was amazing. And it's so interesting that it was shot here and not in Jerusalem.
Yeah, everybody thought it was in Jerusalem, but of course, for question also availability of spaces, you know, it's a busy city, Jerusalem, while Matera was available at that time to, and it's, as you can see from the picture, like a nativity scene on the rocks. And then to Otranto, which is only 20 minutes away from the resort, and it's all in white. And this is showing also the Greek heritage of the area, because this little tiny region called Puglia was founded by the Greek, not by the Romans. And this is also why you find all this white architecture all over and these white buildings reminding the Greek islands.
So when we arrange for the clients to come to the region, everyone should just know that you can rely on us to arrange and create itineraries for these awesome destination excursions. As you can see,
Absolutely.
a little today, but we would love to be able to do that.
Renee, you know, the wedding is only one day, but usually when visiting a region like Puglia, you stay at least 3 or more days, and there are so many things to do and many activities. People, they want to enjoy their experiences, maybe by biking through the Trulli, or just by taking one of these little boats with the fishermen and fishing with them, or maybe tasting our amazing petrol, our olive oil. And I know, because I was traveling in the States very often in the last years, that mozzarella has been replaced in the States by burrata. Everybody's crazy about burrata. I didn't know that you were so familiar with burrata. And guess, burrata is originally made in Puglia.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah. This is like a...
While mozzarella is made in Napoli, burrata is just made in Puglia. So you can see the production of burrata, taste it, and maybe also participate to one of the, let's say, burrata cooking school together with the mama and learning how to make it.
Okay, book us for that, please.
Amazing locations also outside the resort for dinners, romantic dinners and events. Of course, you can set a wedding or a reception or any kind of events just in front of the trolley and privatize some trolleys for your events. Or you can visit one of the most famous restaurants in the area, which is Digged in a Rock. And it has been also nominated the #1 restaurant on TripAdvisor. So I didn't know that in a small village like Polignano Mare, we could have #1 restaurant in the world, and it's Grotta Palazzese.
Wow.
So impressive weddings. But now, before moving and leaving the boat and going on the island, do we want to ask if there are any questions?
I think we're going to save the questions till the end because we have 2 more properties to go through, and you are such a beautiful storyteller that we just want to listen to you. And we'll save all the questions for the end.
Okay, let's manage the time. You know, the Italians can talk for hours.
We love it. It's awesome.
We move now to Sicily, to the island of Sicily, and to our beautiful, stunning Verdura resort. So, how to get to Verdura resort, how to reach Sicily. I know that many of you maybe are familiar with the east side of the island, and so with Catania, with Taormina, and all this beautiful touristy area, because in the last 20 years, let's say, the tourism has been on that side of the island. What we are doing, and we have to say that Rocco has contributed in terms of destination management, we are developing the tourism on the other side of the island. So we are offering a new destination, let's say, for our guests. And so today we will focus on the west side of Sicily, on Palermo, and on the southwest, on Agrigento, where the Verdura resort belongs. Again, like in Puglia, for international visitors, international tourists, you will be landing in Milano or in Rome, and then there is a connecting flight to reach Palermo. And from Palermo, you can drive through the island and go south for 1 hour and 30 minutes and reach our resort. I just want to add one more thing. Before the lockdown, United announced a non-stop flight to Palermo from New York. We know that it will happen in 2021, so we are quite happy that there will be a direct access from United States to Palermo, which makes also easier the journey to the Verdura resort. When talking about Sicily, I always say this is not only an island, this is an entire destination. It's the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea. And from one corner, so let's say from Catania to Palermo, it's about 3 hours and a half, 4 hours driving. It's almost the same surface of Belgium, of a country. So it's a rich in history, rich in architecture, rich in some of the famous archaeological sites belonging to UNESCO, so of the World Heritage. And 2 of them, like the Valley of the Temple and Segesta, are only 45 minutes driving from the resort. So when visiting the resort, you can combine the leisure experience with also the historical and the art experience. Tremendous dramatic landscapes. This is called La Scala dei Turchi. La Scala dei Turchi is a white granite stone beach club, and it's also a setting for events. For example, with Mary, we arranged for a fun trip, an amazing white party, because everything is white. So we were all dressed in white and we stayed on this beautiful, surrounded by these beautiful white rocks.
Beautiful.
So just some hints and suggestions. And the Verdura resort is located nearby a fisherman village called Sciacca. And again, genuinity and authenticity. This area of Sicily is still as it was in the past. And this is also why it is so loved, because you really experience what you expect from an island like Sicily. A few words about the resort. We feature on property one of the largest golf course in Italy with the 45 holes divided into 18, 18, and 9. So, of course, today we are talking about weddings, but, you know, many of the guests and maybe also the bride and the groom can be golfers. And this is a big advantage because it's not very easy to find large golf course like this. It has been designed by Kyle Phillips, which is a very famous designer, the same one of Pebble Beach in California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
By the way, Benedetto, just want to keep you mindful of the time because we still have to get to Palermo. But this is, when you arrive to this resort, you actually arrive to a small little gate, a gatekeeper, and you have no idea what's behind that gate. And when you go through those gates, you're driving through the golf course to get to the resort at the beach. And it is just like blows your mind.
And it's also 7 minutes driving because we own a massive village. So it's, let's say we just own like an entire village, an entire corner of Sicily. And then we also boast a 1.5 mile of private coastline and an amazing white sand beach club. So this is also one of the unique selling points. We have 6 outdoor pools with salt, thalassotherapy, so with salt water, surrounded by the beautiful olive groves where we do our own olive production, and also an indoor spa and pool. 203 rooms. So let's talk about numbers. The Verdura Resort can, and it's quite difficult to find in Italy, a resort where you can fully buy out 203 rooms. So we can manage medium, large groups. And you will have an entire village for you.
That's amazing.
One of the peculiarity of our large rooms that I always say it's much more Vegas size than Italy size, because our entry level is from 430 square feet. So quite spacious and large. One of the main peculiarities that we all have sea view. All rooms have a sea view, despite the room categories. So no one will be, let's say, disappointed with the allocation of the room. And then, in terms of flexibility of spaces, this is our amphitheater. The capacity of the amphitheater is up to 500 people. And this is also the place where you can set a symbolic ceremony with all the candlelights and the lightings. Then we have a piazzetta. Piazzetta means little square. And here, imagine a 3-day program, because of course it will be not only the wedding, but you can do also other functions pre and post the wedding party. And this, for example, could be a very good start with a Sicilian feast, a Sicilian party. And then we have a beautiful trattoria on the sea. One more function for events. And then we have an olive grove where you can set a wedding party, a gala dinner, a magic night in the olive grove. We have one more outlet. We have our restaurant on the sea. So 3 main restaurants and many, many other spaces around the resort. And this is, for example, the restaurant Amare. Restaurant Amare is the perfect location for a wedding. Look at this setup. Also, the beach can be a perfect location for a beach party. So we can, for example, set the cocktail and aperitivo on the beach, then going into the Amare restaurant, and then going back for the party on the beach. This could be also one more option. The board of the pool is a perfect setting for larger event. We go up to 250 people around the pool. and also the old cocktail area between the beach and the pool is a perfect setting for a cocktail, a standing cocktail. So again, the key word for the Verdura resort is the flexibility. In terms of number, the ideal number is in the full buyout, 200, let's imagine 203 rooms in double occupancy, it will be about 400 people, 400 guests. In this case, Renee, we need to consider a marquise.
Yeah.
So a temporary structure just for the backup. Because in all our outdoor spaces, we have plenty of space to arrange outdoor events, but then you need a marquise anyway. If we reach instead the number of 350, we have already a backup in our Congress Center. So the ballroom of our Congress Center can host the 350. Plenty of activities on site, both water sports, activities to do together with our celebrity chef. So many, many things to do on site and off site. But now we move to Palermo for a big announcement. I will be very short on Palermo, don't worry, because it's an opening. So I'm going to share you the information that I have available. With Palermo, we are very, very happy to say that we have a destination, because the airport is Palermo and then we have the Verdura resort. So we can also consider a combination, a combo of the two properties for a 1 week holiday or for a 1 week event on the island. What is Villegea? Well, Villegea is, I would say, a palazzo overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. This is the definition. It's a Liberty style Belle Epoque building. And this is from the outside. We also feature on property a private port. This means that you can access by the sea, not only by plane. So we have a lot of people joining and reaching the resort by yacht or by boat. And that's one of the impressive views of our upcoming new jewel of the collection. The Villegea will feature on property at its opening, which is planned for April 2021. 104 rooms. This is the project, and we will feature these beautiful rooms. These are not renderings, but mock-up rooms. So it's the real thing, because we were supposed to open next June, but then we postponed because of the current situation. But many of the rooms are already set and ready. So we are working on the second part of the project just to fully open on 2021. And what a beautiful interior design. I don't know if you have ever visited Villegea in the past.
No, we didn't visit. We know Cosa Nostra is where Palermo is famous for, but we didn't get to Agea. That's the next time.
Well, we have to say that this is like the landmark of the city. By the beginnings of the 19th century, this place has been the place of the Hollywood movie stars. It has been always the major attractions of all the VIPs visiting the city of Palermo. It's the 5-star hotel of the city. But with Rocco Forte Hotels, we are trying to enhance the experience as well, because the hotel needed some renovation works. It really needed. And that's why we decided to completely close the hotel and restart with the new version of Villegea. In terms of events, I would say that the ideal number will be from 50 people to 180 max. And this will happen in this beautiful fresco room with all the alfrescos on the walls. And our ballroom, which can be set up to 180 for banqueting. And as I promised, I was short on Palermo. We definitely need to come and visit all together this beautiful new jewel of the company.
It is just beautiful. I want to share, well, first of all, thank you, Benedetto and Mary.
Grazie.
It was a great week for us because on both days we got to visit 6 properties in the Rocco Forte collection. That is really a beautiful story to tell. And Benedetto, you are marvelous to look at and wonderful to listen to. So it's been a pleasure. Mwah, baci baci, as they say. I want to share my screen just a quick moment. Oh, if you stop here, I'll just share mine quickly. This is me riding one of the bicycles at Verdura. You didn't mention that the property has bicycles for every single room. And the property is huge, as you saw from that picture. You can actually ride your bike through the golf courses from the rooms, which are way on the southwest side, all the way to the northwest side of the property where there's a building. Do you still have the restaurant in that separate building?
Yeah, it's called Amare.
Amare, that's the Amare, right? I mean, all the restaurants are amazing, but that was so delicious, like trattoria, so cool. And we were there when you were just building out some other areas by the sea. My hair is really blowing in the wind there because the fact is that there's a lot of breeze over on that side of the island. And so, you know, you mentioned a marquee. Sometimes it's great just to have an extra space outdoors where you can just enjoy without the wind. I've pulled up on Wedaways.com the 6 properties that we visited this week, and anyone that wants to come onto the site to actually look at the properties in depth and compare. On the left side of my screen, I just pulled up the initial comparison module. And then when you actually identify the properties that you're interested in comparing and you click on the compare button, it shuffles out and all of the various aspects of the property that you might be looking for are highlighted. And of course, if it's darker text, that is what is included on that property. And we've built out the profiles for all the 6 hotels very nicely on the site, but Benedetto is providing us with more information all the time. So if you check back, you can see more and more that will be helpful to you in making your decision of what you want to sell to your clients. So with that said, again, I want to thank you. And Pamela, do you have questions?
We do have a few logistical questions that Wedaways can answer based on airport location and distance to the hotels. We do have a question that you can answer though, Benedetto, if you please can. What is the cutoff for noise at each one of the properties if they're having a wedding outdoors?
Okay, well, this question is always in consideration of a full buyout, of a no buyout. So if it's in exclusivity, so let's start from Puglia. There is no limits if it's in buyout. If it's not in buyout, the limitation is regulated by the local government, so it's up to midnight. Perfect. So this is Puglia. For the Verdura Resort, it's very easy because we own an entire village. If it's, again, a full buyout, no limits. If it's not a full buyout, so we have other guests on property, we will still have the possibility of doing parties and loud music, even if we have other guests on property, because we have a place which is called La Torre, and this used to be the old train station, which has been completely restored. So it's now like a nightclub that we can set for an after party, after the dinner. And so after the dinner, we move all the guests in that area and we can have loud music all the night long.
Love that.
Or
Amazing.
Palermo, I need to double check because we are still not opening, so I still do not have the policies for the music.
It's interesting though, because each of the properties, I think based on their location and the types of properties that they are, will attract such a different type of clientele who's going to go to Puglia. Although I strongly suggest everybody visits everything because they're remarkable, but the clientele is very different. You know, someone who's looking for that Puglia feel, or someone that's looking for the Verdura with the golf resort, and Palermo has got that sort of city vibe, even though it's at the water. You know, so it's very, very different in terms of personality. I will say that Pamela and I only had, I think, 6 nights. We spent 6 nights on Sicily, I believe, and it wasn't enough. It absolutely wasn't enough. I would go back. My husband has never had the privilege of going. I would go back to Sicily and stay on the island for 2 weeks. It is one of the most incredible places. Everything in Italy is beautiful. Everybody loves Italy for every reason. You don't need a reason to love Italy, but Sicily is really special. So I can't wait to go back.
You know that the famous German author, Goethe, the famous poet, he just wrote when visiting Sicily that if you have never visited Sicily, you have never visited Italy.
Yeah. Having been there, I understand that. Having been there myself, it is something, and a lot of people haven't been. It's a must. It's an absolute must before our time is up. We got to get there. So we've got 3 beautiful places to stay. No excuse. No, well, 2 places on Sicily and
2 places.
Yeah.
And I saw one of the comments that someone who's watching us said that he's obsessed with burrata.
Aren't we all? Yeah.
We are all. We can confirm.
Can I add something, Renee? I know that most wedding events take place, of course, over nice weather, which, peak season. Our 2 resorts are seasonal, just to let you know, like the one in Puglia. They're open from April through the end of October. Last year was our first season. We did extend it through the first week of November. And then Sicily, Verdura is actually a longer season because they're warmer, they're closer to Africa, so the season's longer. So we're actually open from March through November. So just to let you know that.
Well, thank you very much. And all of those dates are also available on wedaways.com. And if you do the comparison, you'll see, especially once Benedetto just gives us all the final details that we can populate, because that's a really great tool if people just want to be a little independent. Otherwise, wedding planners, couples, they know all they have to do is reach out to us at hello@wedaways.com or Pamela@wedaways.com, Renee, whoever they want to, Rachel at sales and marketing, and we will certainly be of service, and we look forward to that.
Great.
And it's been a fabulous week. We can't wait to put this up on our YouTube channel and to start, spreading the word. It's going to be great. People are going to love revisiting this webinar. It's been fantastic. This webinar is the finale of our summer season. So we are going to be starting the 2nd to 3rd week of August with our next quarter series of webinar. But next Thursday, just to repeat again to our viewing audience, we have the finale of the 3-part series, The Wedaways Advantage, Travel and the Business of Weddings. Part 1 was all about demystifying room blocks. We have backed up that wonderful and highly informative webinar with 2 blogs on the site, which have already been read by over 500,000 readers. So we highly suggest you check out those really great blogs. And if you want to share them with your clients so they get a better understanding of why it's so important to work with professionals, it will be, I'm sure, highly appreciated. And part 2 was venue sourcing and the value of venue sourcing, and how Wedaways as a company will work with you as a wedding planning company in tandem. And if you've got clients who aren't sure of where they want to go, but they have an idea of a region, we will help build out your proposals with you in tandem. So we are your partner in this. And part 3, navigating the new normal. We'll pull it all together. We'll tell you about all of the wonderful perks and value of partnering with Wedaways, from the FAMs that we organize for wedding planners to the style shoots that properties love collateral. We'll talk about style shoots all around the world, and all of the other wonderful things that we can do together. So from our family to yours, the Rocco Forte family, we thank you so very much for joining us this week. And everyone else who's watching, stay well, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday. And arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Ciao.
Ciao, grazie.
Mwah. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
See you.